And we move on to the next speaker, who is Kenny V. Ting Lee, also from Malaysia. And Kenny will present us his Liberica coffee development and refinement project in Sarawak, Malaysia.
Thank you so much. Okay, good afternoon. It's so glad to be here again after 3 years and 8 months, if I remember correctly. And thanks for inviting me to ICC. I really enjoyed this talk. So I'm from Malaysia. I think my partner has introduced quite a lot about myself and him and our company. And this is where I'm from the eastern part of Malaysia. There's two parts of Malaysia, eastern part and western part. We're from the Borneo Island. So this is the city where I'm from, the capital of Sarawak. I've been in a specialty coffee community and business for more than 10 years. And I'm currently running 2 roastery cafe and a coffee academy. And also, I've recently become a Liberica grower myself, since I'm growing some Liberica in roughly 6 acres of land. And we also have started to become one of these, trying to become researchers in this field. Although I've been in the coffee business for many years, but my Liberica journey actually started in 2017 when I first met Dr. Swartz from our coffeeologist education back in 2017, in Bangkok. Back then, I was like most of these coffee experts, they kind of like despise Liberica as a good coffee, but he changed my mind during that session. Dr. Carmen and and Raven has did some really good introduction to Liberica already. I'll just go through this quickly. Among 130 type of known coffee species, Liberica is one of the toughness one. As you can see in this photo, unlike Arabica or Canephora, they are more to shrubs, but the Liberica is more like a small tree. It's taller. It's quite tall in what we found in Borneo. And it's also the only species that can withstand the hot and humid climate and can be commercially grown in the lowland out of 130 species. Liberica coffee originated from the western part of Africa. Here you can see from the map where it came from. Perhaps due to its higher environmental adaptability, coffee Liberica distribution range is evidently wider than that of other species, as you can see from this map. Here is the clear map I found online. Here we can see how Liberica coffee is coexisted with other species in Africa. Historically, Liberica coffee was introduced to Sri Lanka and then introduced to Malaysia in around 1870s. From this map, we can see clearly the native land of Liberica coffee and where it's being introduced and cultivated nowadays. The green are the native land of Liberica, and the purple one was where it was introduced. I'm sure Philippines is also one of the biggest producing country, but somehow it's not in the map, but we have to remember that. Although nowadays the Liberica coffee is being cultivated in all 3 regions, but its globally production is really low. It's almost 1.5, it's almost insignificant. But in Malaysia, it's opposite. It's the other way around. We are growing 87% of Liberica. So when we talk about Liberica cultivation country, a lot of people they will say about Philippines, Indonesia, India, but look at this. I would say Malaysia is one of the most significant Liberica cultivation country. There's something I need to stretch here. If we look into the coffee consular map, it shows clearly where Liberica and Excelsa is cultivated. You can see it's clear. We are one of the main country that is cultivating Liberica. But most of these cultivators in Malaysia, they are the like the small farmers. They're not like big 10 or 100 or 1,000 acres of growers. They are like the backyard growers. Even though 87% of the coffee that we grow in Malaysia is Liberica, it's still not enough for our own consumption. We still have to import Liberica from neighboring countries like Philippines and Indonesia sometimes. But if you look at the table 5 here, from the surface, our main importing country is Indonesia, but that's just from the surface. In fact, we import coffee from all other countries around the world in the name of Indonesian coffee. We have a label as Indonesian coffee because we have a very strict rules. From the 2022 statistic from ICO, we could see how global consumption is increasing over the years and how the production is dropped, most probably due to the climate change. So it's safe to say that strategically it is good reason for us to believe that we should make Malaysia or Sarawak the major Liberica producing country. Sorry, I'm moving faster a bit because, running out of time. To be straightforward, if we look into the strategy, we export more coffee products than we produce. Our main coffee crop, Liberica, is not sufficient for our own consumption and also global consumption. And according to statistics from ICO, the Arabica and Canephora production will drop drastically. So Liberica is the only coffee species with the commercial value that can withstand the hot climate. So a simple conclusion is that investing in Liberica product in Malaysia holds tremendous development prospects. Before I delve into the story of Sarawak, I believe it's essential for the Western world to understand just how distinct our coffee drinking culture in Southeast Asia. This is the scene where we normally drink our coffee in a hot environment, open air, no aircon, not cool. It's a traditional kopitiam in the old times like this, and in the modern day like this. And a good cup of coffee for us, you need to understand that it's not like 10 or 3 euro, it's 0.32 USD per cup. That's how we drink our coffee. And this is the shop roaster we have in our place. It's not like the Probat or Gis and things like that, And I'll show you how we roast our coffee. Oh, sorry, I have a video to play the last. How do I go back to the last slide? Just a video to play. Thank you. Can I go back to the last slide? How do I? Actually, that's a video, the last slides. I want to show you guys, it's important to see this yourself. Can we play the video? No? It's actually a very, very scary video I want to show you guys. You need to see that yourself. Can we play that? No? Oh, no, oh, so sad. Seriously? You'll see how much sugar, it's like this big bucket of sugar they add in after they roast the coffee, and this big bucket of butter they add into the coffee. So yeah, sorry for that because I'm using the different system. So this is how we roast our coffee. Very clean and hygienic in the way you can see it. Yeah, this is the dark roast we're talking about, because in Europe, when we talk about dark roast, we're talking about the physical or chemical dark roast. But in Asia, we're talking about the philosophical dark roast. It's like this, almost carbonized in a way. So if you think about this, we have a totally different ideologies, a different concept about coffee when we talk about coffee in Europe and Asia. You have to know that. And the price per kilo is roughly 26 ringgit, which converts to euro, around 4 euro. A kilos of roasted coffee, can you imagine that? So, yeah. So come to our story. In East Malaysia, where I'm from, it's an entirely different world. There's 2 states in East Malaysia, Sarawak being the biggest state in Malaysia, and Kuching is where I'm from, the capital city of Sarawak. Coffee in Sarawak is mainly grown by the local indigenous tribe. We have many different tribes like Iban, Bidayu, Kenyan, Saban, Kayan, we have a lot. And they used to be, are they the headhunter? I think we have 2 with me today from Malaysia. They are from Department of Agriculture. They are from the tribe Iban. Iban, they're from, are you one of these headhunters in the past? So glad to see you today. Yeah, I'm not myself, but they are. Okay, so be careful. So this is a map provided by the Department of Agriculture Sarawak by Wendy. She's in charge of our coffee development in Sarawak. And then we can see clearly that the Liberica is the main cultivar in Sarawak. There are actually more Liberica growers than what we see here. According to Wendy, there are roughly 500,000 trees in Sarawak, but I guess there are more because that's only in the record, but we have a lot more in the ruler. So for years, our local agriculture department has been helping to promote Liberica cultivation by providing the indigenous people with the saplings. Being to say, most of these growers, they get the seeds from the DOA instead of getting from themselves, growing themselves. And a lot of them, they actually smuggle the sapling from the northern part of Kalimantan. As for our role, Earthlings, we have been collaborating with the Liberica growers from western part for years. We have recently launched our Liberica refinement project in the eastern part, in the kampong named Lombanga and Long Balong. This is what we call the Baram project. It's not easy to get to the place. If you go by car, it would take you like 25 hours driving. You have to drive 25 hours on the lodging. Sorry? Yeah, correct. And plus, we have, plus on the other side, we have an upcoming 500 acres Liberica project where we are also working together with them. So these two areas is the main area where we grow Liberica in Sarawak. And we are hoping to grow more in the future. So in March of this year, this gentleman you see in the photo, he came to see me in my place. He is Alistair Clare, is what we call Orang Putih Asli. He is the son of the British missionary who born in Lombanga. So although he looked like a white person, but he is actually a native. So he was trying to help his village to save their coffee industry. This is the coffee he brought. It was the coffee he brought to me like this. Okay, sorry, I skipped something. And this is the Baram River area. As you can see, the long river. This is the Baram, and this is where everyone growing coffee in the area. We have like more than 100 villages growing coffee nowadays in Baram area. Okay, before I promised Mr. Alistair to assist their village, it took us some time to do some analysis and overall feasibility study on the project. Only then we come up with the set of strategy. I won't do this all, but I will focus on the last three, the unclean flavor from failed fermentation, the lower yield issue, and the lower price issue, because this is the first thing we have to handle at the moment. And if we put this weakness into the external environment, it's getting worse, because we have very high rainfall, which is around 3,300 millimeters per year to 4,600 millimeters per year, which is almost 3 times higher than Brazil. And therefore, it's hard to dry the coffee in our place. I think we have more than 240 days rain in a year. So it's a lot of rain. So to dry the coffee in our place is a big challenge. And the extremely cheap product competitor from Indonesia, such as Canevera, as you can see, is also a big challenge to us. So if you look into this photo, there's 2 markets nowadays. The local market, they will sell the roasted coffee for around 30 ringgit. The most, normally, they will sell at 25. So it's really cheap. So if we were to sell our Liberica to the local market, it would not survive, it would not sustain. So my opinion, the only way out is to sell them to the specialty market where they will buy the coffee at a higher price. So to change the game, we developed a set of strategy targeting the winners in our Liberica coffee industry to ensure sustainable future development. Our strategy comprises 4 core components. First, we need to improve the quality. We need to ensure the way they grow the coffee is sustainable, and we have to empower the farmer to teach them how to do everything, and we need to bring the global market into our place to buy the coffee from them directly, which is, I think, is the only way that will help them. So the problem lies in front of us is that the coffee is always in this condition. Very bad, it smells like salted fish because they sell to the local market. This is defects to us, but it's not defects to the local grower, the local roaster, because they roast almost carbonize the bean in a way. So for them, this is totally acceptable to the local. So we have to change the mind of the grower and also the mind of the producer. This is the coffee normally the local roaster will buy. For them, it's okay. For us, no, we can't sell it internationally, right? So in order to achieve the specialty quality, we come up with a gradual improvement plan. First, we want to achieve coffee of non-visible defect. Secondly, we want to ensure every time we receive the green bean, we smell it, there's no moldy and fishy and, what's the word, oceanic, someone uses the word just now, yeah. Smell is very common in our place, always the salted fish. So we do it step by step. And lastly, when we receive the bean, only then we do the cupping and sensorial assessment. So in action, we went into the interior of Sarawak a few times, visiting the farmers, teaching them how to do the pruning, how to do fertilizing, how to do the organic compost. It's not moving. So the coffee, this is also a video where they intercrop. You can see how they intercrop the petai together with Liberica coffee and other crops and other herbs around, but we can't play the video here, it's so sad. So the coffee farmer are encouraged to do intercropping, not only for extra income, but also for the biodiversity and sustainability. They will typically intercrop coffee with banana, durian, longan, jackfruit, petai, which is what we call the sting beans, and many other species. It's not moving. And during the past few months, we conducted several seminars in villages to demonstrate various coffee processing techniques to teach them how to do the processing. We also emphasize on small group discussion with the Liberica farmer, seeking to empower their jobs. We teach them how to do the pruning and things, how to do the correct picking, and most importantly, I think, because most of the farmer, they do not know how much they can earn from an acre of land. So we, in a way, have to force them to do calculation. They refuse to do the calculation. They refuse to count how many trees they have in the farm. I guess you know that very well. It's so hard to teach them, to force them to even count how many trees they have in the farm because they insist not to do it for some reason, for some political reason. And yeah, I'll share this later. So we have to teach them how to do calculation because otherwise it will not sustain unless they earn. Okay, and we do direct trade with them. We buy from them the coffee at average 80% above more than fair trade price, and we preach transparency, so they know how much we sell our coffee, and they know how much I buy from each farms. So we come up with a standard, and we also. This is the interesting part. We also allow them to seek for their own buyers from around the world. So there's no binding, there's no controlling. They are allowed to sell to whoever they want, as long as they are paying higher than us. That's how we work. Now, this is what we found in the interior of Borneo after having evolved and crossbred for more than 100 years, the Liberica in interior of Borneo. You see, they are in different shapes. They are in... They have different plaits and different sizes. Even the seeds are different. You can see from here. And the color is different. Yeah, they are purple. These are all believed to be the Liberica. I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't know. I pretend that I know these are Liberica, but I don't know, you know? And look at the seed. The density, you can see the density is so low. And they're so different. Even the flowers, the blossom are different. You see, normally we believe that Liberica has around 7 to 9 petals, but in Borneo, 5, totally different flower. We have 6, 7, and 9, even 10, and pink flower. So it's very confusing in the way. And if you look into the seeds, they're also different. Yeah. And I've collected all this sample and seeds and leaf. So we are hoping that we can work with someone that could help us to do the analysis because we need to know what we're growing. That's the first step, right? So back to the witness. I'll just go quickly. So to solve it, like I said earlier, the only way out is to strive for the higher end market. So what we do now, we're trying to reduce the weaknesses. Sorry, the last 3 weaknesses we mentioned earlier in phase 1 of the project. We will do grading and purchasing. We come up with a scheme where we will buy the coffee from them if they would do the sorting themselves. So we are kind of like encouraging the farmer to collect the coffee and they do the sorting themselves where they can get higher pay. Secondly, we apply for the right equipment for them because it's so hard to unpeel the Liberica because the skin are so hard. So we're getting this support from Pharma and also Department of Agriculture to support the farmers. This is our farmer. And we are building them the drying bed. Even the kid can do so, so I'm sure the villagers can do so. And we're building them the greenhouses to solve the problem of high moisture and high rain. And these are the greenhouses in Lombanga. and other greenhouse. And this is another video. It's so brilliant the way the villagers, they know very well how to do the thing. This is like a drawer, so they can pull out the coffee and the cascara and the blossom to dry under the sunlight. And when it's rain, they can just push it inside the greenhouses. So I didn't teach them how to do this. They do it themselves. So you see, his name is Tamang Ojong, a brilliant guy. Yeah. And we will do a strict moist control. Every time we receive the sample, we receive the stock, we will have to check the moisture, and we have to check the oceanic smell in the coffee to make sure it's not, salty. Because the problem is, most of the case, even if you receive the seed in the right moisture level, but during the drying phase, it might take them 2 months to 3 months. They dry it, when it ran, it got wet again, they dry it again, they repeated the same process, and the coffee turns. So you need to make sure that the smell is correct. And we also utilize the byproducts, core products you mentioned just now, like the Liberica, cascara and the blossom. And we also do product differentiation. We do different kind of processing so that they can sell it to a different kind of market. And we do the sensory assessment at the end. Yep, that's pretty much my sharing. And thanks for listening. And we'll go to the cupping later. Thank you so much.